All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about something that is going to completely change the way you learn and remember things. Seriously, we're going to build a system that makes knowledge actually stick with you for good.
But let's start with a feeling I know you've had. You read a totally fascinating book, or maybe a brilliant article, and you feel like you really get it. And then, what happens a week later? It's gone, right? The big ideas are kind of fuzzy, and all those important details have just vanished into thin air. So why on earth does that happen?
Well, the problem, it turns out, is something that cognitive scientists have a name for: the illusion of learning. It's that cozy, familiar feeling you get when you reread your notes or highlight a sentence. It feels so productive. But you know what? It's basically a trap. And this, right here, lays it all out perfectly. Over on the left, you've got all those comfortable, passive habits: rereading, highlighting, the stuff that creates the illusion that you're learning. But the right side, that's where the real magic happens. That's active recall. Yeah, it's harder, it feels like more work, but that is the only path to knowledge that actually lasts.
So the big question is, how do we get from that passive column over to the active one? Well, the answer is the hero of our entire explainer today, a super powerful, scientifically proven idea called the retrieval effect. So here's the absolute key. Learning isn't about passively absorbing information. It's an active process of retrieving it. Every single time you force your brain to pull some information out of storage, you're not just remembering it, you're actually rebuilding that memory, making it stronger and easier to find next time.
Okay, so how does this actually work inside our heads? To really get why retrieval is so powerful, we need a simple way to think about how memory even works. And trust me, it's surprisingly intuitive.
I want you to imagine that every new thing you learn creates a tiny, faint path in a really dense forest. Now, just rereading that information, that's like walking down the path once. It barely leaves a trail. But actively trying to recall it, that's like clearing the path, stomping it down, making it wider and clearer, and so much easier to find the next time you need it. Let's just break that down into 3 simple steps. First, you encounter a fact. That's the initial faint path. Then, and this is the important part, you force a recall. This is the struggle, that moment of effort, and it is that exact struggle that strengthens the neural pathway, making the memory tough and durable. Okay, so that's the science, which is fascinating. But how do we actually use this? Let's get into the practical toolkit, the specific techniques you can start using literally today. Here are 4 absolute game changers for your learning toolkit. Instead of rereading, start self-quizzing. Finish a chapter, close the book, and just try to write down the main ideas. Or try the Feynman technique. Can you explain this idea in really simple terms, like you were talking to a kid? That'll show you where the holes in your understanding are. Good old-fashioned flashcards, they are pure retrieval practice. And spaced repetition, that just supercharges the whole process by testing you right before you're about to forget. You know, when you start combining these techniques, something pretty amazing starts to happen. You stop just remembering random facts, and you start building this deep, connected web of knowledge. This is the path to real, genuine mastery. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's a complete mindset shift. We have to stop thinking about our brains as like storage closets and start thinking of them as muscles. A muscle that gets stronger with every single lift, with every single act of recall. And that is the absolute core of it. The retrieval effect isn't just a clever trick, it is the foundation of a reliable system. When you focus on actively pulling information out, you are deliberately engineering your own memory to be stronger, faster, and way more durable. You are literally in control. So that leaves us with one last, really exciting question. Now that you have this incredibly powerful system, what knowledge are you going to make permanent? What skill, what new language, what subject are you going to choose to truly, finally master? The path is clear.